Hey everybody, this is Troy Alexander, Inspiration with Troy Alexander. We are back one more time to uplift, to encourage you to never give up on your dream. You know what my motto is, dream, take that step, and walk with purpose into your destiny. Tonight, I am excited about everything. I got a thumbs up from the producer. Listen, y'all, tonight we come on every week to encourage you never to give up on your dream, but to hold on to everything that you are destined for, to take that step. Listen, but can stay connected with us. We on Facebook, Troy Alexander. We on Instagram at Pick by Design. Pick by Design. I love taking pictures. Listen, go to our website, our nonprofit, www.calledtoinspire.org. Calledtoinspire.org. And we on YouTube, Inspiration with Troy Alexander. Listen, we're getting ready for our second virtual talent showcase on Friday night, June 18th. At 8 p.m. Facebook Live Eastern Standard Time. If you have a talent, if you sing, if you're an actor, want to do a monologue, if you're a poet and want to read a poem, listen, whatever you do, whatever gift, talent, if you play an instrument, if you sing a song, come on and help us to raise some money for this amazing nonprofit that provides care packages to the homeless. So don't miss it. Friday night, June 18th at 8 p.m. If you're interested in being on the broadcast, with your wonderful talent, send me an email at iaminspiredtroy@gmail.com. iaminspiredtroy@gmail.com, or DM me on Facebook or Instagram. So tonight we have an amazing, amazing guest. Listen, she was married in the 11th grade. After 13 years of marriage, had to raise 3 sons on her own. She raised 3 successful sons, including Derek Luke, the actor featured as Antwone Fisher. Glory Road, my goodness, Tyler Perry's Madea Goes to Jail, Captain America, the First Avenger, Sparkle, and more. Miss Luke went on to work for Merrill Lynch and the Prudential, while also contracting with Exxon and Merck Pharmaceutical. Miss Luke also developed and implemented a job training curriculum for Middlesex County Youth throughout the state. Welcome, Miss Luke. Thank you so much for joining us on our broadcast.
I'm so pleased. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. Well, listen, it is truly an honor to have you, and thank you so much. Listen, do you remember when we first met?
Yes, I do.
Listen, y'all, we were at, I believe, a church picnic.
Yes.
And again, thank you so much to Miss Deborah Tucker. And I want to give a shout out to her real quick, but thank you. But yeah, we met at a church picnic and we was having, it was, but do you know how we continued after that? Because I was trying to remember, how do we even connect after that? I don't even remember, do you?
Well, I would see you when I would come to your church.
Yes.
And then I would be there practically at all your picnics. But I would always ask you if you would please get food for me. You would go and get plate after plate for me. And you just served me so nicely. And it was such a blessing.
Well, listen, you're such a blessing. And listen, whoever knew that it would come to a place where you would actually be a guest on our live broadcast. So I thank you, Ms. Luke. I so appreciate you so much. Listen, I read your bio and I'm reading where you got married in the 11th grade. Now tell me about that. Was that like tell us about how that came about.
Well, to be honest with you, I was attending church, Reverend Arturo Skinner, a Pentecostal church, which is in Newark. And I went to church one Tuesday night, and my sister and I, we were together. We were at the bus stop waiting for the bus, and my sister was talking to another lady, and then my husband came across the street, and he just started watching me. I was only 15 years old, but at that time I was only 15, and he was smiling, he was asking me my name. At first, I couldn't understand anything he was saying because he had a heavy accent. He is from Guyana, South America. Okay. So when my sister saw me speaking to him, she came over and pulled my coat on my arm and brought me over to her. But then when I would see him at church, he was always trying to, talk to me. So it must have been like a little less than 2 years later, we were married. My mother had to sign for me though.
Wow. Wow. And so what do you think that moment in your journey, what impact do you think that had getting married at that age?
That was a great impact. Number one, that was much too young. And my husband was not honest with me. He was supposed to have been much younger, but come to find out, after I got married, I found out that he was actually 13 and a half years older than me.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
He was really much older than me. And at first he tried to claim that his birth certificate was incorrect. That's how I found out when his birth certificate came in the mail.
Wow.
Wow. And I was in
Mrs.
high school.
Wow, Mrs. Luke. Wow. Okay. Wow. So yeah, now I'm like, wow. So you're married for 13 years.
Yes.
Wow. And then all of a sudden something changes and now you got to raise 3 sons on your own.
Yes, it was pretty tough. I would say for like the first 2 years, it wasn't that bad because I was in high school. Mm-hmm. I was in high school. I was going, and I would work after school and then come home in the evening. It really wasn't that bad. But once I got out of high school, I would say like almost a year and a half later, I had my first child. And after having my first child, that's when my husband really started really pressuring me because I wasn't familiar with the Guyanese culture.
Right.
It was totally different from being an American young lady, where I guess they were taught, the young women were taught that you're supposed to submit to your husband, be a housewife, just do everything like a housewife, don't have anything, no outside life or whatever. And that's when it really started getting difficult. And I was definitely fighting against that. But we continue. And then that was bad. And then less than a year and a half later, here I come with Derek. So I felt so trapped.
Wow.
And I had to literally really fight for my own rights and everything like that to be able to get out and do things for myself. And I had such opposition with him because his culture was so different. I didn't know how to adapt to that. I had never heard about it. And when I was getting married, the church that I attended never provided, any type of marriage counseling. There was no marriage classes at that time. I didn't know what was expected of me. I got to be honest. I thought it was going to be something like a fairy tale. Right. Wow. It was like a fairy tale. You fall in love and you happily ever after and stuff like that. I had no idea that it was going to be that much pressure in a marriage. So it was kind of tough at times.
Wow. How did you learn to come through that? Because a lot of people don't, right? And sometimes mentally, how did you learn to come through that?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I was living in Newark and we had moved to Jersey City, and I didn't know anyone there. And one day I went to the grocery store and I met this young lady, and she was married and she had kids. She had been married for quite some time. And somehow or another, we just connected. I gave her my phone number and I began to tell her what I was going through. And then I met another young lady and I was telling her the same thing. These two women gave me the courage to stand up to my husband.
Wow.
They were, at the time, they were not born again women, but they gave me the courage to stand up to him. After a while, he didn't know what to do. He had to back down.
Right.
I was, I was serious. I'm like, no, this cannot continue, So he was disappointed, but it was okay because I was not used to that type of life. And it was really impossible. But I'm going to tell you, there was times that in my marriage where I was really depressed. And I really thought that there was times where I was going to literally have a nervous breakdown. It seems like a couple of particular times But I remember like almost taking my hand and pulling my mind back, like literally. But thank God too that with my upbringing and biblical foundation, I was able to pray as well. And God gave me the strength, to go through what I need to go through.
Wow. And did you ever get counseling? Or did you ever go to a counselor?
No, no, because he didn't want to. And he said
Wow.
that the only way that he would be willing to go was that if we went before a counselor, I could only discuss the things he say that we could discuss.
Wow.
I couldn't tell the counselor, what was really going on in the house.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I mean,
So, but he would not go.
right. So again, if you're willing to share, how were you able to separate from that environment?
I I left him. I left him.
Wow. Wow.
And well, we had separated. I left him the first time and came back, I would say after probably 6 weeks. Okay. So because of that, I guess he knew I was serious. So he did change a little. Okay. But then things was really going back and forth, back and forth. And now I'm coming into my own. And, it's like, I'm not going to tolerate all this stuff.
Right.
But, for the children's sake and stuff like that, you want your marriage to work. I did not believe in divorce. I grew up in a Pentecostal church. So they were definitely against that. And they would tell you, if you get divorced and what have you, you would never be able to remarry and all this other stuff. And one day I just remember just picking up the Bible for myself and going into
Wow.
First Corinthians, the 7th chapter,
Yeah.
and start studying and doing research to find out that that was the Pentecostal or some of the Catholic churches, whoever, that was their tradition, but that wasn't something God had said.
Wow. Wow.
So I
I,
had to come to a conclusion. I really still didn't want to do it because I really wanted my marriage. You have children, you started off, you just want your family. I believe, maybe his own way he wanted it too. He did not believe in divorce, and he passed last year, but he never remarried because he really believed that once you was married, you
right.
did not remarry until death do you part. You
Well,
know.
I just want to say, Miss Lou, you are an inspiration because there are so many people that's going to watch this broadcast, and a lot of women who are in a similar situation, and to be able to look at you and say, "Wow, she made it through." Right? She came out of a very difficult relationship, but she's still here. And
Right.
and so thank you for being transparent and being open and sharing that part of your journey because it's inspiring so many. So I thank you so much for sharing that part of your journey.
And let me just add that it
Yes.
was we did get into like physical fights and everything,
Hmm.
because he really believed in that he was supposed to be the head of the house and the
Right.
household and what have you. But then again, there was times too that I lacked wisdom in dealing with him. And I know sometimes I watch and I see young ladies today have done a lot of foolish things I have done. When you're dealing with an angry man, you should not be getting up in their face thinking that you're just as bad as they are. Because you don't know really what's in the mind of a person. Thank God I was never really physically hurt that bad or anything like that, where it required me going to a hospital and so forth. And, thank God. But there was probably times that it probably wouldn't have happened if I just used wisdom.
Wow. Wow. Wow, Mr. Luke. It's again, you are helping so many right now. And it's all have you ever spoken to women's groups in terms of your journey this way?
Yes, Yes, I have, but more individually than
Yes,
anything.
yes, yes. Well, listen, you said a lot when you spoke about those two women who encouraged you and gave you the courage and the strength to be able to speak to what you knew that you were going through and to be able to, and yes, thank God that it didn't get so bad that you got physically to the point where you're still here. So that's a blessing.
And adding just one other thing too.
Yes.
Like I said, I grew up in church and I met him in church, but there became a time when he didn't want me to go to church, but
Wow.
he would go and he would throw this in like, the Bible says to obey your husband and all this other stuff. And I was really confused about that. And I remember calling a pastor in New York. As a matter of fact, a very, very well known pastor, the pastor Reverend Roy Brown. Someone gave me his number and I called him and I was telling him what was going on. And he says, the Bible says, forsake not the assembling of yourselves together. Yes, you can, take your husband's advice, but if he tells you, advise you with anything that's against the word of God, you do not have to follow that and don't follow it. And he said, and I want you to tell your husband that you're going to church. And
Okay.
when I finished
Okay.
talking to him, it was a Friday night. My husband had come home from work and he was in the bathroom. He was kneeling down, I think washing some of the children's clothes. And I went and stood in front of him. And I said, Maurice, guess what? You're not stopping me from church anymore. I
Okay.
am going to church. And he was quiet. And what was so amazing that Sunday, he helped me get ready and get the children ready.
Wow. Wow, Mr. Luke. Wow. Amazing. 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 Well, we're so proud of you and all that you have come through, because to see you now, I would have never have known that you went through something like that, because all I see is a confident, amazing, strong woman, person. And it's amazing. So thank you for sharing that part of your journey with us. And because you've helped so many just in what you've shared. Is there more you want to share with us? Because I mean, it's just amazing that part of your journey, and it's so powerful because so many women don't come through it, but you did, and
Yeah.
and you're giving hope, you're giving life to somebody else that might right now be in that situation, seeing this, knowing that it's not hope, that there is still hope. And so, thank you for sharing your journey on that part. Thank you so much.
You're
We appreciate
welcome.
it. So I gotta ask you now. You're coming up with your three sons.
Yes.
Because all I see right now is again strong, confident. What do you hope that your sons saw in you as they were growing up and you were just caring for them? What would you hope that they would say that you instilled in them?
Well, we've had this conversation many times. They have come to me, and I was really surprised that they have come to me at such an early age to tell me how much they appreciate it. Some of the things I instilled to them in them was that I would not allow them to stay in the streets. When it got dark, they had to come in the house.
I hear that. Yes,
Yes.
yes,
I told them, I
yes.
said, if you want to go to movies, if you want to go to church, you want to
Uh-huh.
go to a friend's house, you're
Right,
welcome
right.
to do so, but you're not hanging in the streets.
Right.
But but one thing I have to go back and say, when I started having my children and I wanted to get out and work, my husband was dead set against it. And I have to be honest that I can say to this day, I do appreciate that because I stayed home 8 years. And in that 8 years, I was able to instill a foundation, biblical foundation in my children where we took time from the time that they were babies. I remember having prayer every day for about an hour to an hour and a half. I would have prayer with them every day. And to be honest with you, my son Maurice At the age of 3 years old, he knew the Lord's Prayer, the 23rd Psalm, and part of the 27th Psalm. So we were constantly in the Word, praying, me having the opportunity to teach them. Let me just tell you a little funny story about their faith in God. One time we had this TV, and this TV really didn't hardly work at all.
Right.
And there was a program that they wanted to see. And, but we couldn't get a screen, right?
Right. Oh, yeah, I know about that.
This is one of these TVs where instead of an antenna, we had a hanger in there.
Yes. Listen, I had to adjust the hanger. I'm telling you.
Yes.
I bend it up. That's right.
Yes.
And did it just right.
Yes. Yep. Yes. And I was in the kitchen, and then I was watching them. And, because we went to church, and at that time I had a bottle of oil. They took that oil and they were anointing the TV. And they were saying, "Rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Rebuke you in the name of Jesus." I thought it was so cute and so funny. So I just said, okay, so this level keep going, And then Maurice came into me and said, "Mom, God told me that he's going to fix that TV." So I said, okay, fine. I said, okay, well, y'all go back in there and finish playing. So a few minutes later, they were still rebuking that over the TV, waiting for this picture to come on.
Wow.
Then Maurice got a little bit discouraged. He came back to me. He says, "Mom, that TV hasn't come on yet." So I said, "Maurice," so I followed him back into the living room. I said, "Maurice, I'm going to tell you something. Whether God, if he turns that TV on, he's able. If he doesn't do it, he's still able."
Yes, he is. Wow.
Yeah, so, back then, tradition at that time, they always told you about kneeling down, praying, what have you.
Yes.
So I said to them, I said, "Well, why don't you kneel down this time and pray and ask God to do it,
Okay.
And so I went back into the kitchen. Next thing I know, they were jumping, hollering, screaming. They turned that TV on, and that TV was working.
Wow. Okay, Maurice. All right.
Yeah, that TV was working. So, from kids, their faith began to increase more and more by seeing by seeing the things that God was doing.
Yes.
And I just praise God. Setting a foundation and instilling that into your children is very important, because that's what my mother did with me.
Wow, amazing. Well, listen, I in seeing your son, Derek, I mean, I've seen some of the events that he's been a part of, and such, powerful to uplift and inspire, and even faith-based, to encourage, and it's amazing, and you could see the seeds that you planted, and so it's amazing to see that now. I mean, now I don't know what your other two sons do, but did you ever think that Derek would go into acting? Or did you know it as a young age?
No, I didn't. But I'll never forget, at the age of 9 years old, he came into my bedroom. At the foot of my bed, he had a powdered blue shirt on.
Uh-huh.
And I was leaning just against the headboard. And he says, "Mom, I want to be an actor." I says, "Oh, really?" I can't say I was really surprised, because my husband, even though he's from Guyana, he was in London and he did a lot of entertainment there. He danced, he sang, he did some acting.
Okay.
So I thought maybe he just wanted to take after his dad. But at the same time, I didn't know how to help him, because, like I said, I grew up in a Pentecostal church. And they were dead set against things like that. They was called worldly things, trying to get into Hollywood with something, that they did not promote. So I didn't know how to answer him. So I said to him, "You know something, Derek? If you're really serious, I'm going to let you pursue it when you get to be 18 years old." So when he finished high school, my sister and family members encouraged him to go to Jersey City State College, which he did. But he only stayed there a little while. I'll never forget one day he came home. He says, Mom, I can't do it. I've got to get to Cali. That's how he said it. I've got to get to Cali.
Got to get to Cali.
Yes. And he left, I think, about 2 months later with $1,000 in his pocket. $1,000. But I have to tell you, his journey, I'll tell you a little bit about his journey. It's just amazing how God worked, because he was going to Snyder High School in Jersey City. And in 11th grade, some guys got a gun after him. And thank God, protected him. So in his last year, he decided to go to enroll into, it was Linden High School. My sister lived there, so he used her address,
right.
to enroll in the school. And while he was there, he met this young lady, and they became friends. And before he went to, I would say 2 months before going to California, he had heard that Linden High School was having some type of event, and he went to the school to attend the event. But when he got there, nothing was happening. So he went to Patricia's house to find out what was going on. I never found out what was going on, but he told me that while he was there, her sister was leaving for California that night.
Wow.
He had got a promotion from Sony from New York going to California. And she was asking him questions about him being acting and what have you. And she says, well, I tell you what, when you get to California, look me up. But when he got there, he totally forgot. He said he was selling things, from the car and everything else like that.
Right.
Like a year and something later, he remembered her, and he called her, and she got him a job working at Sony at the gift shop.
Yes.
Souvenir gift shop. And one day he went to lunch with this co-worker, and just so happened that the real Antwone Fisher joined them.
Wow.
Yeah, he didn't know anything about it. And Antwone Fisher is telling his friend, this young lady, how he's writing his first motion movie.
Oh my goodness.
And that Denzel Washington is directing it. So Derek tells him, he says, well, I'm an actor too. Would you let me see the script? And he says, no disrespect. And Derek said he wasn't disrespectful in no kind of way, but he had his hopes of someone very well known to play that part. Right. So he said that his desire was for Will Smith or Cuba Gooding Jr. to do it. So he says, you're not going to be able to do this movie. Okay, but unbeknown to Antwone Fisher at that time, Denzel Washington had said that if he was going to direct his movie, the only way he would direct it is that he would have to get a chance to choose who he wants.
Wow.
To play this part.
Amazing.
Yes, Amazing. He wanted to choose the person. So the day that there was someone else that worked on the lot, Sony lot, and they went into Denzel Washington and the other cast members and directors and whatever and said, there's a young man that's on this lot. He works at the gift shop and he wants to audition for the Antwone Fisher. But Derek had a casting agency, but they had fired him just maybe a couple months before him, not thinking that he had any ability as far as an actor. And they let him go. And at first, Denzel Washington and the other crew almost said no, because they said that's unorthodox. We don't usually give anyone a chance unless they're connected.
Exactly.
Some type of agency or whatever. But anyway, they says, okay, let us give him a chance. Wow. And Derek went in there, and the day that he went to the store to tell Derek that he had chosen him, the real Antwone Fisher just happened to be in the store that day.
Wow, Miss Luke. Wow.
And Denzel goes over to Derek, Antwone, and Denzel said he was saying to himself, because Derek and Antwone was talking outside, Derek was asking him, have he heard anything that was going on? And he says, I wonder what is Antwone doing with Derek. He didn't know that they knew each other.
Oh, wow.
So, but he went over to Derek and put his hand out and said, hi, Antwone, you got the part. And
Wow.
fell to his knees, praising God, crying, just so rejoicing. Then I understand that Antwone cried too. He didn't know that that Denzel had even chosen someone to play that part. But that night, Denzel called me, and Derek asked him to call me, and of course, I didn't believe it was him on the phone.
Right, exactly.
But he told me, when we
Yes.
talked for a little bit, I says, he said, this is Denzel Washington. I said, oh, yeah. So I said, this is more recent Derek playing on the phone. I'm just not sure which one.
Right.
And he says, well, I was just calling you to let you know that I'm directing my first motion movie, and I've chosen your son, Derek, to play the leading role. I believed him. And I says, oh, my God, oh, can I be in it? And I'm not even sure why that came out my mouth.
Oh, my goodness.
Just to make a long story short, he told me that he had been looking for someone to play that part for 2.5 years.
Wow.
He could not find anyone to play that part. He said he had people from all over the country, everywhere, trying that part, even very well-known actors, but he could not find the person that he wanted to play that part. And he told me that Derek would go far and that, he would really advance in his acting.
Listen, that is a movie by itself.
Yes.
I mean, Derek ought to write that down and make sure that it somehow gets on some screen, even if it's a short film, but somehow.
But do you know that they said that the auditions that went forth for Antwone Fisher, they could really make a movie out of it. That's what they said.
Yes, because everything aligned itself, right? We're being let go from the agency, right, to being and for him remembering, right, the person that said, listen, if you're ever in California, look me up.
Right.
I mean, just all of and for the event not happening at the school that caused him to go to the house.
Yes. And one other thing too, he was working at Roy Rogers in Jersey City, but he got fired for not doing something he was supposed to be doing. And it took him a long time to find another job. So he went to Newark to 108 Sneakers.
Yes.
And one day a young man, and Derek didn't know where he was going to stay or anything. And one day this guy walks in there. This guy has a very high afro. His name was Myron. I mean, it was really high. And Derek saw him. Derek said, wow, look at this Chicken George. Okay. He said, he's got to be from the South. Wow. And Derek went over to him and said, hey, Chicken George. He said, I know, where you from? And the guy says, I'm from Newark, but I live in California. He said, what?
Wow.
You live in California. Wow. So Derek began to share with him what his dreams were and how he wanted to come to California. And he asked him, he says, I want to know, because the guy was just in New Jersey. He was from Newark, though. He was come here to see his grandmother. And Derek asked him, said, well, when you go back, do you mind looking into an apartment for me? And the guy said, sure, I'll do it. And the guy found one, but 3 weeks before Derek got there, the apartment fell through. The young man went to his mother and asked his mother if Derek could stay there with them. And she said yes.
Wow, Miss Luke. Wow. I mean, that's like a heavenly, I mean, it's like, all these things aligned.
Yes.
And amazing. Well, we're so proud of Derek and just all that he's done and everything he's doing. I mean, I'm talking about major, like, did you ever think that he would be this well-known?
No, you know what? It's not that I didn't believe that he had the capability, but I knew that in Hollywood, the competition was very high. Yes. So I wasn't sure how close or how advanced he would get, not because I didn't believe in him, but I didn't know what was required of him
Yes,
whether or
yes,
not,
yes.
he had the skills that was up to par and what have you.
Right.
But God knew. And then going
Yes.
back really with my other sons, what with Maurice, what happened with him is that I took piano lessons for 8 years and always had the piano in the home, but I never taught Maurice anything. And
Okay.
we were attending this church in Jersey City, and there was no piano, there was no music or anything, but there was a piano there. And
Miss
my
Luke,
husband,
wait. Don't don't have this story end with he gets up out of the pews, goes over to the piano, and starts playing.
no, but what
Okay.
happened, my husband said to him, he
Okay.
called him modest, go to that piano and start playing. And I was listening to the conversation. He said, but Dad, I can't play. He
Okay.
said, well,
Okay.
hit it. He said, hit it. And Maurice was 14. I think Maurice was about, I don't know, maybe 12, 13 or something like that. And do you know, eventually I didn't teach him anything. Maurice started playing.
Wow.
And then one night, Maurice was playing for this church on West Side Avenue. And this group called PM Dawn that was very famous.
Okay.
They were driving by and they heard Maurice playing. And they went and asked the usher to give this young man their phone number. Maurice knew who the group was. I didn't know who they were.
Right.
But to give him the phone number and ask him to give us a call. And Maurice did a lot of contract work with them. He made thousands and thousands of dollars. So Maurice has played with Elton John.
What?
Yes, he has played with Elton John and so many other well-known musicians and everything. So Maurice has done well. Daniel, he's not in music. He's the finance guy.
Hey, listen, we need finance people.
Yes.
so
yes.
that the people in the entertainment can keep their money.
Yes. But Maurice has traveled all over the world, Brazil, Italy, all in the United States, playing for different ones and what have you. So I thank God. I just thank God, for what he's done in their life.
Oh my goodness. And do you ever think that things could have turned out differently? Given your path? Do you ever have that cross your mind at all?
Oh yeah, because I'm gonna tell you, when I was telling you in the beginning how I was going through and had Maurice was born, and then less than a year and a half later, Derek was born. During that time, I was contemplating abortion. I was just trying to figure out how was I going to abort Derek.
Wow, Miss Luke. Wow.
I didn't know. I'm like, God. And then there was sometimes things I would try to do myself to abort him,
Wow. Yeah, wow.
I'm telling you, not knowing what God had in store,
Yes.
Having no way of what God had in store.
Right. No, that's powerful. I mean, I can't even imagine. And just hearing you tell that, it's like, wow, but look what was produced.
Yes.
From everything that you, even with the mindset of, oh my goodness, that right there, I mean, it's amazing. It's something to think about, that what greatness came out of that pain or the struggle or the.
That's right.
Yes. Oh wow, Mr.
Only
oh,
God could do that. Only God.
Yes. So I'm telling you, your three sons had to be destined. They had to. I mean, looking at you being such an example of perseverance, and also coming from depression, as you said, and not knowing, but where you are now. I mean, it's amazing, and you are such an inspiration. And I can only imagine what your sons think of you now. I mean, I can know then, but even now, saying, what you've given them, and hope, life.
They're very appreciative.
Yes. Well, I mean, this has been, I'm so amazed that one, you're on my broadcast, which I'm so honored. But it's just amazing to see where you've come from, what you're doing. But before I got to ask you, because I read in your bio that you said that when you was a teenager, that you came up with a song and you recorded a song in your teens and that was on the radio.
Yeah, but it wasn't just me. It was my husband's idea.
Okay.
We were not married yet.
Okay.
But because he was a singer and entertainer in London, he wanted to continue to sing, and he had a wonderful voice.
Oh, wow.
And me and my two sisters, we were in the choir, and then there was another young lady that was part of it. And he decided, he said, you know what? Let us do these songs. So he rented space in New York at a studio, and we recorded all day. Wow. And it was two songs. One was At the Cross, and the next one, Come By Here, Lord.
Wow.
Yes, and I believe the station it played on was WNJR, I think.
Okay.
But it used to play on the radio often.
Wow. So let me ask you, do you have a copy of that song?
Yes, I do.
Listen, I should have told you to have that ready. Well, listen, you're going to have to let me hear that song, Miss Luke.
I am.
Thank you. Yes. Well, so let me ask you, do you sing and do you play the piano now?
I don't play the piano that often, but I'm going to tell you, when I'm on that piano, it's a feeling that I can't even describe. Wow. It's so awesome.
Wow.
It's just so awesome. I sing in my house. I mean, I was part of the church choir at one time. I wouldn't go back to the choir now, but I still love to sing.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, listen, I gotta hear you sing. I gotta hear you play. So next time I bring you back on the broadcast, we're gonna have a little performance. Is that all right?
I don't know about playing. Well, I don't have a piano here.
Oh no,
I don't have a keyboard. My son has a keyboard, but I don't know about that.
We can get you a keyboard at the house now. Now we can get the keyboard there. We can get
Don't count on it.
All right.
Don't count on the playing. I might sing, but don't count on the keyboard though.
I hear you. Well, listen, I want to ask you, are you working on anything new? Because you are such an inspiration. You've done so much. Any new goals, new dreams that you're working on?
Okay. Well, my love and passion is working with youth and young adults.
Yes.
Okay, so I've done several workshops with youth and young adults in career development and helping them with their dreams and their visions. Also, I've worked with my cousin. She has an organization called For Parents Organization. So I facilitate for her sometimes. I was facilitating at my church for single parenting, for single parenting at one time. But right now, my main desire is to continue to help the youth and young adults achieve their goals. Today, they're facing so much today.
Yes.
And a lot of them are discouraged. They feel so defeated. I was doing substitute teaching for quite some time. And then just before the pandemic, since the pandemic, I haven't done any substitute teaching. But just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, I was at the high school and some of these kids, I mean, their attitudes and everything, you could just imagine. And one time I was really just getting upset with them, but then the Lord just put in my heart that that's not what I brought you here for. I brought you here so that you can help them. And once I started validating them and letting them know that they were beautiful, that God had a plan for their life, their attitudes began to change so much. And so many, like in class, when class was over, so many youth would come up to me and say to me, thank you so much for the things that you taught us today. So that's kind of like what I want to do. But when I was running the program, I had to get them ready to be ready for the program, because a lot of them was, they was discouraged. They thought they couldn't do it. A lot of them, their parents had really torn them down, kids. It was really discouraging. They just felt like they didn't have a place anywhere in the world. But it's just amazing how you can take a couple beautiful words and, say to them that they would turn around. So that's what I like to continue to do. Facilitate as much as possible and do as many workshops as much as possible.
I love it. Awesome. Well, listen, everybody, you see why she's amazing and awesome and just phenomenal. Well, listen, have you done any virtual workshops yet?
No, I was thinking about it, about putting it together.
Yes.
So I don't know when, but I do plan on doing one or a couple of them.
Well, listen, I had to tell you, again, I go back and I thank Miss Deborah Tucker for you all becoming friends and for you coming to the church picnic and just everything. And from there, it's amazing how, this has grown in terms of knowing you, and we just talking, and we talk every so often. We text each other, call like this, how you doing? And it's just wonderful to know you, and you're so grounded. I mean, like who would ever knew like that again, you have a son that's played with Elton John and all around the world. You got another son that's a movie star that's been in the Avengers and Glory Road and Madea and Denzel Washington. I mean, no one would ever knew that. But you're so humble and you're so grounded. What do you attribute that to?
Well, number one, my mom, because of the foundation that she instilled in me, the principles, I'm so much reminded about the scripture in Proverbs. I believe it's Proverbs, the 27th chapter, starting at the first verse. It says, "Except the Lord build a house, they labor in vain who build it." And then in John, the 15th chapter, there's a verse that says, "Apart from me, ye can do nothing." So it's staying attached to the principles, the Bible principles. And also with my, at the age of 23, I accepted Jesus Christ as my Savior. So he has been my strength. He has been my everything. I could not make it without him. There's no way I could make it without him or achieve what I have achieved today. So I give him all the glory and honor for his goodness. Even with my sons, I look around and I know it's nothing but the grace of God. There may be things I have done, but you know what? He is the one that drew them, and he's the one that keeping them, and he's the one that caused them to be connected to him.
Powerful, powerful. Thank you so much, Mrs. Luke. I mean, just wonderful. And I got to ask you one more question. Actually, might be two. But what would you say to that one who might be in a difficult situation, whether it's a relationship or just in your mind, just difficulty getting through or going forward? What would you say to them to encourage them to hold on and to just know that there is hope, that there is life, that there is something greater coming after this?
Yeah, you know what? All things are possible if that's what you want. But there's another thing that says faith without works is dead. You have to make a move some kind of way. You have to get help. You may have to go back to school, whatever, but it's possible. It's not, if you're looking for it to happen overnight, it's not going to work like that. But you got to be patient. You have to trust. You have to get with the right people. Do not hang with negative people or people that's going to make fun of you and tell you that you cannot make it. You can make it. There is always a way that you can make it. Learning how to pray. turning to God, asking God how to help you. If you go to YouTube, there are so many inspiring individuals that can really bless you. The book that I gave Derek at the age, I think, 18, was a book by Dr. Miles Monroe.
Yes.
Derek told me that's what really helped him get his, helped him with to pursue acting. It's called In Pursuit of Purpose by Dr. Miles Monroe. In Pursuit of Purpose. You got to read books. Like I said, get with the right people, pray, turn to God, ask him for his help. He will not turn you away. He will show you the way.
Powerful. And I got to ask you, if anybody wanted to connect with you, like somebody might be going through a difficult situation that you went, are they able to, is there a way to contact you or not just yet? Because again, I don't want to put something out there, but I mean, if somebody wanted to kind of connect with you, is that something? Or if not, they can connect with me and I can make sure.
They can connect with you.
Okay, so
they can connect with you.
Thank you. So if there's something that Ms. Luke has said in terms of her journey and her ability to come through all that she's been through, if you feel like you want to, glean some support in that way, please, again, you know me, I am inspired Troy@gmail.com. I am inspired Troy@gmail.com. And again, I want to ask you one more question, Ms. Luke. Listen, is there any actor, actress that you have not met that you would love for your son to introduce you to?
Well, you know what? Since Derek has been acting, I think since 2001. I think his first movie premiere was in 2002. I've just about met everybody. I have met so many people.
Wow.
Even Beyonce.
Really?
I've even met Beyonce.
Wow, Miss Luke. Wow.
So many. And I've met them more than, one time, whatever. It's really been wonderful. This is something I could not have, oh my God. I could not have put this together for myself. I know one time my brother, he was walking with Derek on the red carpet. And he said, wow, because, it was 8 of us, 5 boys and 3 girls. And he says, wow, from the projects to the red carpet.
Wow. Wow.
So I've met so many of them. It was a pleasure, though. It was a pleasure. It was exciting. But I know my brothers and sisters really enjoyed it, too, because me and Daniel, I would say, probably is the only one that did not bring a camera with us when we went to the premieres. I let them take the pictures, right, and I just got copies from them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, all I can say, Miss Luke, is that, listen, we're so proud of you. I am so proud of you. It's an honor to know you. It really is. And as you know, everybody know, I didn't tell hardly anybody, I'm like, nope, because I respected you. I respected just even us knowing each other in that way and connecting at the church picnic.
Oh, yes.
And so I'm grateful for you and just all of who you are. And thank you for being such a light to so many. Thank you for being light to those who are going to watch this broadcast and say, wow, yeah, I can make it. She made it through. I got to believe. I got to, get the courage and connect myself with positive people, right? Yes. To hold on and that can lift us up in those moments. So, and when you talked about your 3 sons, I'm sitting here thinking, wow, everything you've been through, it reminded me of the 3 Hebrew boys, how even in the fire, right, they were still covered, right? Even through the struggle, they were still covered. Even through all that and all that you instilled in them. And I loved it. When the TV went down, they prayed for the television. And I'm telling you, listen, that is a powerful testament of who you are. So thank you so much for just sharing your journey. Is there more you want to share with us before I let you go?
No, but I thank you thank you so much for inviting me. It's been a pleasure, and hopefully I said something that really helped someone else. And just going over again, they can contact you, and I will surely contact them if there's something that they need my help with or want to talk. I'm more than ready and willing.
Thank you, Miss Luke. We so appreciate you. Everybody, please give it up for Miss Marjorie Luke, everybody. Thank you so much, Miss Luke. Everybody, listen, continue. We are here every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Inspiration with Troy Alexander. And you know what my motto is: dream, take that step, and walk with purpose into your destiny. Thank you so much for joining us. Miss Luke, thank you again for the honor, for the privilege. Have a good night, everybody. And I'll see you not next week. It's a holiday, but I'm going to see you the week after then. Thank you so much. Have a great week and go get your dream. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Luke.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right.